Hey, it's Rooted Black Girls with Farah and Afnan, representing everyday Black millennial women of multiple faith, cultures, and Clubhouse shenanigans.
Hey Farah, Assalamualaikum.
Hey, walaikum assalam, Afnan. How are you?
I am good. I'm glad to be back on the podcast. Clubhouse has taken over my life.
I know what that's, girl. And it's so crazy because I sent you the invite, right? And I was like, Afnan, but you got to be active, bruh. And I didn't know that I unleashed a dragon, essentially. Mashallah.
Yeah, you know what? And I felt bad because I didn't realize how exclusive it was when you sent me the invite because I sat on it for a couple of weeks. I was like, I had started the process, but didn't like actually go through because it took me somewhere else. And I was like, yeah, I'll do it later. And now I'm like, oh, I owe Farah. Like,
No, it's not even an O thing. I don't know why I thought I was like, okay, I wonder what the algorithm is like. If you send an invite, will you get more invites if your person's like really out there? And that hasn't been the case. So I don't know. Like it wasn't a big deal.
really?
I've only had like one or two extra invites here. One that I'm sitting on, and we'll discuss that at the end, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So for those of you guys who don't know what Clubhouse is, actually, Farah, I think you'll explain it better than me. How would you explain Clubhouse to someone, the unfortunate Android users who are not on there?
Oh, the Android users. I think they have their own Clubhouse, interestingly. But so Clubhouse is a very unique audio only chat room based app. I think it's working and it's really, I wonder how it's going to look post Corona era, right? If we ever get out of this, because I think it's successful because we're in coronavirus. No one wants to look cute. So they take that audio visual component that we get through Instagram lives and trying to connect with people, FaceTimes. They take that all the way out. And now we're like our mom and daddies, especially like immigrant families who be like chatting it up, like screaming on their phones. Like we've become them, you know?
Yes.
So there are topics that range anywhere from like Nation of Islam, like talks, or like PWI HBCUs. I know you're like in the influencer marketing, entrepreneurship. I'm always like, okay, if Nan got it, she's gonna tell me. She's gonna deduce and then come and talk to me about it.
Right.
It's a brilliant app that where people come together and just talk. That's the beauty of it. It's quite simple. And so just to tell you how it all started, so I guess the app met up with like 40 creators, both micro influencers and macro influencers in December, I think December 17th. And then they kind of unleashed them into this app. The app officially launched in May and was kind of this initially for tech investors, and then they opened it up for their creator program. And so within the creator program, people are hosting chats, but the big question is how do they plan on taking care of their creators, and that in 2020 people are starting to recognize creator economy and paying for, the people who really uplift their platforms.
Right.
Lastly, I guess there was an article in the New York Times that said that every successful app has paid their creators and they find a way to monetize or allow monetization on the app. One that didn't was Vine. And
Right.
they met up, like the top influencers met up with them. They said, no, we're not going to pay you, essentially. And they all left, and then they closed down 1 year later. So TikTok is a very successful app, and you probably know a lot about this, where they pay their creators really well. My little cousin makes, and when I say little, she's 11 years old. She's made $6,000 on the app. I don't know what she's doing, bruh. I don't know. She told me I can't follow her. I was like, okay. But they've learned how to monetize and pay their creators and like really elevate their creators as people who are elevating their app. And
Yeah.
so Clubhouse, I think in the next few months, will figure out if they strategize around creating their or paying their creators. But like, what have you what do you know about the app? Like, what have you've noticed? What are you taking in? Because you are on that thing, girl. Like 12 hours is like full-time job, mashallah.
I have been on the app a lot. Honestly, a lot of the information that you even just gave me, I didn't know.
Okay.
The way I experience Clubhouse is you only get credit for the knowledge and the value you drop in that moment. It's not like a feed. There's no like space. Like I only have like a few lines of text of what my bio is, but I don't have like a photo feed. So I don't get credit for what I said in a room yesterday. I only get credit for what I say in a chat or a room today.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Which is very different than other apps. And so, I like to talk, which is why we have a podcast, right?
Yes, you do it so well. Can I just tell people that we hosted, Rooted Black Girls episode as kind of like our first Clubhouse. and we
Yeah.
talked about manifestations, and you moderated, and I just sat back like, oh, mashallah. I was mesmerized, and we were texting in like the group chat, like me, friend of the pod, Narmeen and Huda, and we were like, mashallah, like this girl, you need to be the next Oprah.
Oh my God, that's a lot. But thank you so much. And I think for me, Clubhouse showed me talents that didn't get to shine on other platforms, like moderating. I didn't realize how much of a commodity is like, and I've been approached by people like, have you ever thought about speaking? Like if I have a virtual event, like would you be a moderator? And I was like,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. I
And
see
then
you
I found out,
on billboards. I see you everywhere.
and I found out speakers for events make upwards of 10 to 30, even $50,000. And I was like, I could do that with my eyes closed, like
Easy.
period.
But can I
So
push back though? The last episode when we were talking about as immigrant children, right? Like what we did to garner attention, or like where our childhood traumas come from. And you're like, as the eldest kid, I would try to get the mic. I'd speak at this, and I noticed that my parents would recognize me if I like was that kid who was rallying everyone on the
yeah,
mic. You know,
yeah.
so full circle moment here.
Full circle moment. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So it's funny because like my dad has been asking, because like my phone's constantly going off, and he's like, like what are you doing? And like, why are you up at 2 a.m. talking like on the phone? What the hell's going on? And who are all these people? Because you can hear the sound.
Yeah.
And so I told him, I was like, this is Clubhouse and da da da. And I pitched like kind of like a business, like I'm getting ready to launch a business, and I'm so nervous, but so excited. And he's like, Akhiran, like, finally your mouth is gonna pay for I was like, damn.
Is gonna pay. That's really that I even in the app, or even with Rooted Black Girls, I don't think I recognized your talent around moderating, because
I
really
didn't either.
what we're doing is like conversing, and you have a talent there, But I was like, wow, the way you facilitate conversation, bro, like,
Thank you.
mashallah.
Thank you. So there's that. The other random talent I realized is that I'm pretty good with reels. So I didn't, in my mind, viral is like a million and beyond. That's viral. But a lot of people were like, no, because you have less than 10,000 followers, like 250, 100,000, that's viral. Like that's 10x your following. And I was like, oh, I guess that is pretty good. So it's been a blessing, alhamdulillah. And honestly, like the Rooted Black Girls community has grown really quickly, really quickly. So if you guys are on Clubhouse and you are not following our club, please make sure that you guys do, because we're having great conversations. And I love the dry manifestations conversations. Like that was, oh,
That's another thing that I learned when we were hosting that club. I thought, we had our little outline, right? That where we expected the conversation to go, and then a brother came in, which was interesting. We'll touch base on that. A brother came in, dropped his like, his brother.
his fatwa, like his, you know what I mean? I'm just like, bro, you want to be an imam all of a sudden?
He became the imam, and what was fascinating to me, and I'll touch base on that, like there were a hundred women in there. There may have been two or three men. Like I had to scroll, and I think we heard from the two of them, two out of the
Multiple
three men
times.
multiple times. And I was like, man, splaining, bro. Like you don't read the room, bro. Like you see
Literally.
majority of women who likely want to have a safe space, and you're like pushing the needle towards unsafe space. And you did a beautiful job, because I remember when he started talking, I took my mic off and was like, hello, Brett, like this ain't for you. And you beautifully were like, hey, I think actually your opinion is valid. I'm sure there are other people in the room who feel that way. And I was like, oh, she saved me, Brett.
And so yeah, that guy was totally out of pocket, and I am glad that we were able to gently pull it back. And
He
the
really
feedback.
did. He steered the entire conversation to a different direction. So we had an outline and we couldn't get to it. And that was okay, because I was like, I guess we'll have a part two, a part three
Yeah.
regarding that.
Yeah. And then we also had another room called free therapy, no insurance, just vibes,
Yeah,
which was really, really great too. I love that one.
that was fun.
So
And that's another thing, right? I think Clubhouse is really showing people their talents, because Ayub, Huda's brother, right? They're friends of the pod. I was like, Mashallah, you have a talent, bruh. Like, I think what he did beautifully was he had chill vibes. He was able to facilitate a conversation, have fun, right? Garner interest, and not overshadow any women in the room.
yes, mashallah.
Like, mashallah. I was like, Ayubi, like, this is great.
I'm seeing you in new light.
I know. I was quite impressed. And I think people are learning their talents. I think what I'm doing mostly on the app is I am a consumer of knowledge, like
Mm.
way too much knowledge almost, where and now I am finding that Clubhouse allows me to find safe spaces to practice my knowledge, like to for it to leave my brain and out to the world. So
Yeah.
I've loved that, like finding private rooms, but you can't really find private rooms because your friends can find you. That's so messy to me.
Wait,
So,
wait, wait. What do you mean in terms of the private room? Because if private rooms, even your friends can't see you're in there.
oh, I'm never in a private room, but I'll find like a small room where I can like just go off and see like, hey, can I like download all this information I've gathered and like speak it,
Mhm.
just to
Yeah.
kind of refine my ability to communicate better.
Yeah.
So I've loved Clubhouse for that when I've had moments. Like the other day I got to speak to Lupe and I asked him, he had a room around guns.
Nice.
And I, of course, I think they were more speaking about the mechanics of guns. And I was like, okay, sister here, like, hello, can we talk about the social political implications of Black people having guns? And he didn't answer my question. So I was like, let me let y'all go off. This is y'all's room. Let me read.
That's definitely a farah room though. I love it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it was fun to speak to Lupe.
Yeah. I've
Mhm.
been in, it's been interesting to be in the celebrity rooms. Like there was a one with Tiffany Haddish, and I thought that that was interesting. And so that's been really cool. Spectacular invited me up on stage. That was really cool. I was like, oh, this is
Millions,
great.
mashallah. Like he already forecasted your millions, inshallah.
I receive it. I mean, can I get your eyes on that? Man, I would love for that to be like my story. So inshallah, we're on our way, but I'm super excited.
I think, and so another thing that the New York Times article said, it
Mhm.
said, there's like, I think, from my own opinion, is that there's a fear of missing out component. So you want to check into the app quite often because you're like, you're never going
Because
to get
once it's gone, it's gone.
it's gone, right?
Yeah.
So it makes you want to connect into the app more. Where I think Instagram makes me want to connect, not out of FOMO, but out of boredom, you know? But this is a fear of missing out, essentially. And the app or the article touched base on you have a chance to weigh in and speak to celebrities. And so that's like an area where people are having access to celebrities that are on the platform and connecting with them or connecting with their thought process and their conversation, even if they're not speaking to them, which is something we've never seen before.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's really cool. I'm super excited to see what happens when this is out of beta testing and Android users can join in, and it's the Wild West almost when everybody comes in and see how the space shifts and how it changes, because obviously the content of Clubhouse is predicated on who's on the platform.
Exactly.
So it'll be very interesting to see how it shifts. And I do like the fact that a lot of the rooms that I see in my hallway are predominantly Black creators, Black influencers, Black business.
Girl, what in the world? I'm like, are only Black people? I think there are about 60% Black people on the app.
Yeah.
That's all I see. So I guess their algorithm is they need to expand their algorithm a little more, I think.
Is it only
Um,
60%? I thought it was much higher than that.
only 60% Black folks. There's 600,000 users on the app right now.
Wow, that's insane. So
And
yeah,
I mean that just speaks to Black people make shit cool.
okay, period.
Period.
Period. I love that. And I also think for a lot of people who maybe you missed out on the YouTube wave, maybe you missed out on the Instagram wave, but like I feel like, oh, I'm not going to miss this one, because even if it's hot for a little bit, like I want to take advantage of it. I want to maximize like my reach and make space early for Black Muslim women, right? Because I feel like we're always the last adopters unintentionally. And in this one, I'm like, we gonna make our clubs, we're gonna make our rooms. No, and even like the village auntie, she's been having some amazing rooms,
I
mashallah.
I put notifications always for her.
The bell is on.
Yeah, the bell is on always, not sometimes, not never. Always. Yeah.
Yeah, and I love the safe spaces that she creates, and it's like it's just normalizing these conversations that we need to have and should be having more of.
Yeah, and I'm realizing I'm in groups that range from anything around like I was in a sex workers one time, just to hear
Really?
about like the implications around safety and danger with sex workers and how maybe legislative efforts can change, or even like on a small scale of like if you have a friend that's a sex worker, how you can help them. And so I was just listening.
Wow.
I've been in conversations with the Nation of Islam, and I was like, wow, they're a wealth of knowledge, right?
For sure.
I've seen on the negative end like hate groups, and there have been some creators who've left the app because there is no way to control right now hate groups and hate conversations and the ability for people to speak and send out misinformation. So that's going to be really tricky because we think about the 2016 election with Russia, misinformation with advertising, right? That helped the election of Donald Trump. I'm sure these apps, like if you have someone who is convicted in their conversation but is super wrong, people are going to listen to them blindly.
Yeah.
That's the thing. So there's a fear around that, especially if people aren't critically thinking around subjects ish or
Yeah. I
yeah.
hadn't thought about that. That's a very, very good point. I think that that's going to be very critical to the success of the platform. They've got to think through those things, especially in a generation where we expect our tech and our brands and the companies that we support, whether with our time or with our dollars, like we hold them to high standards. Like if you don't get your shit together, we're done.
Exactly. So some creators have left because they found xenophobic conversations like and the spewing of it and the increase of creators that are kind of putting out those messages. And so
Yeah.
people have left. I'm sure not as many as the people that are coming in.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
well, yeah, it's interesting. I think there was a room the other day that said, "Where are all the white people on
I saw
Clubhouse?"
that. I saw that room. I didn't go in it, but
I didn't go in, but then there was I did for a second. And a one white user, he said, "Hey, a lot of people actually, we have our white private rooms," he said. I die. He said, "We have our white private rooms where we kind of are nostalgic back in the May, like summer days of Clubhouse when it was a lot smaller. Yeah, when it was
it
whiter."
sounds like make America great again. That's what I heard. Maybe
I heard that too. And he was
make Clubhouse great again is what I heard.
exactly. And I left quietly. And the leaving thing, right? Why is the peace sign? They changed the color of the peace sign, but it's white. It was a white person. I was like, can I choose
Oh,
what my peace sign looks like? Like, there are
I
just
like it.
things that make this app super beta.
Very interesting.
Yeah,
Very
yeah.
interesting.
And there's always like a reaction room too. Have you noticed that? Like, as
Yes, I saw them in my hallway, like the Real House of Potomac or Real House of Atlanta or something. Real House of somebody.
yeah, yeah. So Real Housewives of Atlanta reaction rooms to the episodes. Those are funny, and I enjoy that with my little sister. We'll sit here and like get on one
Yeah.
person's phone and
I love
listen.
it.
But it's
I
a
love it. Okay, cool. So the other thing that we did want to talk about is we do have some invites. So I figured out how you get more invites, right?
platform.
So if you have friends who want to get on the app, if you have their phone number in your phone and they have your phone number, right? If they go and register and hold their name, right? You can go in and you can hold your name until you get an invite. And when you do that, everybody who has your number saved and it's reciprocal, then it'll give them a notification in your notification section in your alerts, and it'll say so and so has just registered for the app. Join them or like welcome them in. We'll let them in without using one of your credits.
Mhm.
And for every person you do that, you'll get another invite up to 3. I haven't gotten more than 3, but I'll see that it'll do that. And if you accept them in before somebody else, then you'll get another invite. So that's how I've gotten some invites. But you have to be careful because there's conversations around, and there's been people who I've seen and I'm like, I can't help you, bro, because you'd be out of pocket. Like, I love you. I love you to death, but there's no way. If you misbehave, word on the street is that they get put out. If they get reported and blocked, they get put out, and the person who brought them in gets put out too.
Yeah,
And I
there's
was like,
a lot of info. So the nomination piece, because you're always going to be tied to the person you nominated, right?
yes, yes.
I think initially I was like, okay, of course, accept, accept. And I was like, ooh, okay, I guess I should like be cool. Like if I'm not really that connected to people, they're just in my phone for some reason. I think that's pretty intrusive actually, because I'm like, there's
I
a lot of people that I don't that are in my phone, but not, what if someone
listen.
blocked? Am I
Let
gonna?
me tell you what happened my first day. So first of all, you know how like in the app, it's just like, oh, do you want to see who's in your phone? The instructions weren't super clear. And so I pressed okay and it downloaded all of my contacts. Fada, I'm that person who does not delete contacts. High school, okay? From when I was working at fucking Burger King, when like my college roommates, my
Yeah,
previous employers, my previous boss, my previous coworkers at jobs that I quit. And I never want to fucking speak to them again. All
yeah.
of that is on there. And so the first week, I was literally up at like 2 in the morning or like 1 in the morning. And I had been waiting to get on stage to ask a question about Instagrams because there was like this brand manager who works with like really big companies. And I just wanted to know his thoughts of like, Muslimas working in that space. Like, do you guys actually have conversations about that? So I waited for an hour and a half. And moments before I get on stage, my current boss logs in and she sees the room I'm in and she pops into the room and like I'm not gonna blow my chance. And so she heard my whole Instagram spiel. Like she's blocked on my social account. I love her to death, but she's blocked. And I was like, I learned that night how to block somebody on Clubhouse because you can actually block them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I was so embarrassed. And then like because my contacts also from like work, I've kept my work and my social life very, very separate. We've talked about this a lot. And Clubhouse finally gave me the push that I need by mistake to where I have in my bio that I work at Amazon and I have my first and last name on my social media platforms. And I'm changing my name from Nonchalant to It's Afnan Idris. And it's been terrifying, but very liberating because now I can always be like myself. And I have to be mindful of what I say, of course, but I can always show up fully now. And I think it was the push that I needed to really like elevate. So it's been great. It's been great.
Did
Terrifying.
you notice that a lot of your coworkers and colleagues are also kind of have side hustles as well?
They have alternative lives. I'm like, oh, so you really, and so, to your point, there's been people who I kind of kept at a distance because they're very, like, we didn't vibe at work. And I'm like, oh my God, you do that off the side of your desk. I love that. Let me go follow. That's
So,
been really cool too.
on the opposite end, I have a few patients that have my phone number for like, either their eye was falling out, or they need me at that specific time. And so I come in and I kind of give them favors and see them exactly at 7:30 in the morning and show up on time with my coffee and not
Yeah.
stroll in an hour late. And so that one patient that I come in on time for, he's on the app. And I was like, oh God, and I like, in this year of like, with the Don't Rush Challenge and Rooted Black Girls, there has been kind of a
Yeah.
thing, and I don't enjoy it at all. But I'm having to reconcile with it for sure.
Block them. I advocate for people to protect their peace.
Yeah.
Like I blocked my manager because I was like, you know what? I don't want to always be worried about this and that. Like there'll be a time and a place where I fully open it up. But like at 2 in the morning for me, just because of like the implications of my direct manager, everybody else that worked to me, it's like, if you really want to be in my business, like, okay, that's kind of weird, but whatever. If we're not like friends, but because of the implications of my direct manager, that's kind of where I draw the line. Like I can tell you about stuff, but sometimes we be having even like some of like the Habesha community, we be having very interesting conversations and especially if you guys follow each other, they can always see what room you're in. They'd be like, I wonder what Afnan's listening to. It's like, no. So I don't, there's people who I follow and engage with very heavily on Instagram that I will not follow and will not engage with because then my hallway will be trash. Right. And it's not because they're trash people, it's because our interests are very different. And that's very important to me. So if I don't follow you on Clubhouse, it's because I'm sorry.
Yeah, you need boundaries. And I'm realizing like there are some people where I just don't want to see what room you're in all the time. And not just to create kind of a boundary or an allure, I'm just like, I don't need to know that you were on the app 17 minutes ago too.
I don't want to know. Yeah.
I want to know. And so I did find a hack that you can unfollow someone and not block them essentially. And then it takes them out of your like, where are they? And they can't see where you are. So I was like, okay, that's a little helpful, I guess.
Yeah. But it'll show you like on the page, the minute they come back around to your page, you'll be like, oh, she doesn't follow me anymore. And at first I felt weird about that, but I was like, listen, if you don't understand that, then you're not my people's anyway. So
actually going in and checking, like, do they follow me still? Like,
oh, I do. Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's hilarious. I don't think I haven't really made any large contacts, so I'm just like, ooh, do you still follow me? No.
So for I tell them about us giving away 2 invites for the app.
Yes. So I don't know how we're gonna do this. Maybe if you I'm trying to think around like trivia, Fnan. Like, is there something that we can ask? Or maybe let's do this. Really simple. Okay. If you share the episode on your story and you like and comment on the story, then we'll give you our passes or invites to Clubhouse. And so it may not be that big of a deal. I feel like all my homies are on there, but if you want an invite, you have an iPhone, that's all you have to do. And we'll pass it over and message us and we'll confirm.
Yeah. We'll
And
text it to you. The other thing is, I think for me, like, I think we should also add a component of leaving us a review on Apple Podcasts.
ooh, love
Because
that.
they are Apple users.
Yes, your Apple
What do you
users,
think?
reviews, 5 stars only, please. We hope that's the experience that you're having with us.
Inshallah, I hope so. If you're listening to us, dang.
Yeah. And so, yeah, so this is our Christmas Day episode, right? We hope you enjoyed it. As Muslims, Afnan and I being Muslims, we're not doing anything, right?
Nope.
It's
Not
freezing
anything.
outside in Atlanta, and I think it snowed a little bit last night. So I will
Really.
be indoors. Are you going to be doing anything specific?
You know what? I think you inspired me because last, mashallah, let's talk about your fit. Let's talk about okay, earrings. Give me earrings. Give me jewelry. Yes. Highlight. Okay. All of it.
Well,
Mashallah.
eyeliner, you don't look too close. The thing is, my eyes kind of point down. You see
No,
that?
it's cute.
So my eyeliner, I gotta kind of,
Wing it up. Okay, I like it. It's beautiful, mashallah. You look stunning.
Oh, thank
So
you. I love your outfit, mashallah. Black on
thanks.
black on blackity black.
It's always a good look. And so what I think I'm gonna do is because the streets are basically empty, nobody's shopping. So I think it's a great day for me to go take photos and not worry about 3,000 people in my photo.
Totally, especially with the Crenshaw, Nipsey. It's
Yeah,
was a good look.
absolutely. But thank you guys for listening to our episode. We appreciate you. Please, if you are on Clubhouse, find our communities, follow us at Rooted Black Girls. We would appreciate it. And all the details for our our invitation giveaway will be down in the comments on our Instagram. So we appreciate you. Peace.
Bye, y'all.